In this presentation, essential leadership traits have been explained. Times have changed, lives have changed, we are moving fast. In these changing times and era of globalization, we want to win the race and be ahead of others. We want nothing but the best and want to excel in life. Develop leadership skills to reach out to excellence. Life is full of challenges and we have to be prepared mentally, physically, emotionally, and socially to emerge as a leader. Leadership is a function of knowing yourself, having a vision that is well communicated, building trust among colleagues, and taking effective action to realize your own leadership potential. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, and discover. The ultimate measure of a man is not when he stands in moments of comfort, but when he stands at times of challenge and controversy. So, the real essence of leadership lies in seeing triumph in tragedy. Here it is presented a story which poignantly illustrates the real essence of leadership. Renowned as one of the America's most famous inventors, Edison also demonstrated powers of leadership which would rival any general. This story illustrates that even in the face of the most cruel adversity, Edison not only looked for the positives but attempted to instill that attitude in his followers. In 1914, Thomas Edison's factory in West Orange, New Jersey was virtually destroyed by fire. Although the damage exceeded $2 million, the buildings were insured for only $238,000 because they were made of concrete and were thought to be fireproof. Much of Edison's life work went up in smoke and flames that December night. At the height of the fire, Edison's 24-year-old son, Charles, searched frantically for his father. He finally found him calmly watching the fire, his face glowing in the reflection, his white hair blowing in the wind. Charles was noticing his father quietly and said, "My heart ached for him. He was 67, no longer a young man, and everything was going up in flames." When his father saw Charles, he shouted, "Charles, where's your mother?" And when Charles told him that he is not aware of it, his father said, "Find her, bring her here. She will never see anything like this as long as she lives." The next morning, Edison looked at the ruins and said, "There is great value in disaster. All our mistakes are burned up. Thank God, we can start anew." 3 weeks after the fire, Edison managed to deliver the first phonograph. So, what can be interpreted out of this story? That he believed in seeing things differently. Edison saw beyond the immediate disaster to a positive. He saw things differently. The story sheds some light on how you might define leadership excellence. Easier said than done. A remarkable amount of time, effort, and money has been devoted to the study of leadership. Despite all this research, there is little agreement about exactly what leadership is. Still, people know effective leadership when they see it. And while great leaders may sometimes be born that way, there are certain traits that great leaders share in common that anyone can practice and adopt to become more effective. What qualities are those? Well, to be a highly effective leader, you must inspire action. Try to paint a vision of the future that inspires your people to do whatever it takes to get there. The best leaders also clear away the organizational roadblocks that constrain employees' natural creativity and initiative, unleashing a tremendous amount of energy in the process. Be optimistic. We all want to work with and for the people who lift us up into the clouds instead of dragging us down into the mud. Make sure to seek out the positives in your people, helping them overcome their own feelings of self doubt and spreading optimism throughout your organization. Have integrity. Research shows that the top thing that employees want from their leaders is integrity. Be honest, fair, candid, and forthright, and treat everyone in the same way that you yourself would want to be treated. Support and facilitate your team. For people to do their best work, They need an organizational environment that supports them by making it safe to take risks, to tell the truth, and to speak up without being punished for doing so. Support your employees by creating this kind of environment, and it will facilitate their progress towards attaining your organizational goals. Have confidence. Highly effective leaders know deep down inside that they and their team can accomplish anything they set their minds to. Failure is not an option. Tentative leaders make for tentative employees. If you are confident, your people will be too. Communicate. In any organization, knowledge is power, and great leaders ensure that every employee from the very top to the very bottom of the organization chart is provided with complete and up-to-date information about the organizational goals, performance, successes and failures. To achieve this level of connection, you should also provide ample channels for two-way communication between employees and managers, actively soliciting their ideas for improvement and rewarding employees for submitting them. Be decisive. One of the most basic duties of any leader is to make decisions. Highly effective leaders aren't afraid to be decisive and to make tough calls quickly when circumstances require it. Once you have all the information you need to make an informed decision, then don't hesitate, make it. And once you make a decision, then stick with it unless there is a particularly compelling reason for you to change it. No matter what type of organization or industry you are in, it's possible to become a more effective leader, inspiring your people to give their very best every day of the week. Make a point of practicing these 7 leadership traits and you will be a highly effective leader too. Studies of leadership have produced theories involving traits, situational interaction, function, behavior, power, vision and values, charisma and intelligence among others. One of the important theory of leadership, great man theory, states leaders are exceptional people born with innate qualities and destined to lead. According to another theory of leadership, that is trait theory, states traits are hard to measure. For example, how do we measure honesty or integrity? Research on traits or qualities associated with leadership are numerous. Functional theory. Functional theory is a particularly useful theory for addressing specific leader behaviors expected to contribute to organizational or unit effectiveness. This theory argues that a leader's main job is to see whatever is necessary to group needs is taken care of. Thus, a leader can be said to have done their job well when they have contributed to group effectiveness and cohesion. While functional leadership theory has most often been applied to team leadership, it has also been effectively applied to broader organizational leadership as well. In summarizing literature on functional theory, Hackman and Walton observe 5 broad functions as a leader performs when promoting organizations' effectiveness. These functions include environmental monitoring, organizing subordinate activities, teaching and coaching subordinates, motivating others, and intervening actively in the group's work. Now, before we proceed to study more about leadership, I would like to ask few questions. Do you build in time to think about what you do? Does your organization's culture value ideas? Does it facilitate creativity? And do you facilitate creativity? Well, the answer of such questions is hidden in a key leadership concept which involves creating a positive culture in an organization and helping to recognize why do we need leaders. There are real benefits to be gained from getting the basics right. Of course, it's one thing to place a value on creativity, but good leadership is about creating the culture that allows ideas to flourish. And you can do this by trusting in the famous quote by Steve Jobs, which states, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. And also by ensuring you place a high value on the ideas of others, by allowing time to foster creativity, building on strengths of your colleagues, and trusting them to deliver innovative ideas. A small group exercise can help to foster leadership qualities. A group exercise involves examining and discussing with the team leader